Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Crash and happy Pride Month if you're watching this video the month it came out, or any other June. And if it's not Pride Month right now when you're watching, take a month to have some pride in yourself either way. You don't need to do that just a month per year. But to celebrate Pride Month, I'll be giving 5 LGBTQ+ manga recommendations for you to read. And if you're not a member of the community, that's no excuse. I'm not either, and each and every manga in this list has helped me see things from different point of view. And just before we start, I want us to get on the same page of what exactly I mean with LGBTQ+ manga. These are manga that feature a member of the community as a main character and focus on their issues with gender or sexual identity first and foremost. That means if a manga has a side character who's part of the community, even if the story approaches that in a tasteful and interesting manner, or even if the character is great, since it's not the main focus, I will not consider it an LGBTQ+ manga, no matter how great Fire Punch and Dead Demons are. I'm also avoiding boys love and girls love manga, not that I personally read a ton of it, to be fair. And if there's any manga you like that's not on the list, please be sure to leave your recommendations in the comments below so that I and other viewers can read them as well. The first LGBTQ+ manga I'll be recommending is one of the first LGBTQ+ manga, Claudine by Ryoko Ikeda, published in 1978. I actually mentioned this manga in my Year 24 video, where I mentioned that this is the first manga with a transgender main character. A lot of the Year 24 manga focus on gender identity, with it also being the birth of the boys love genre, and Claudine doesn't feel that out of place within the group's catalog. This is a story of a girl called, you guessed it, Claudine, who sees herself as a boy. We mostly follow Claudine in his young adult life and the woman who fell in love with his charm. As one character says at one point, Claudine is a better man than anyone. But within this one volume long story, we see Claudine struggle with his own identity and the feelings of the people around him. It's a great story that, as is with most manga of this movement, is very tragic in nature. It ends the same way a lot of Year 24 manga ends, and if you don't know what that is, I'm going to let you find out by yourself. If you need something happier by the end of Claudine, can I recommend moving from the first trans character in manga in general to the first trans character in shonen. 1981's Stop HIbari-Kun by Isaichi Higuchi is a big name of pre-Yokoro no Kan's Shonen Jump, and it even had its own anime adaptation in 1983. HIbari-Kun is very much just a gag manga, but the strong point comes in Hibari herself. Hibari was born male but sees herself as very much portrays herself as a female, being considered the prettiest of her sisters and even passing as a woman in her class. We follow Kosaku as he goes to live with Hibari's family and falls in love with her at first sight, before learning her secret. Most of the manga afterwards see Kosaku trying his best to help Hibari keep her secret. There are some problems in HIbari-Kun's portrait of trans and gay characters, which are kinda normal in a 1980s shonen manga, but the good thing is, despite a lot of the characters being vocally against Hibari never caves in. I've actually done a written review of the manga where I go through all of my thoughts, it's linked in the description below, but thanks to that review I actually talked with some trans people about this manga and they all really loved it and Hibari's personality, going as far as calling her a role model. And yeah, she's a perfect example of self-love. There are other problems with the manga, mostly the comedy can be hit or miss. I think the four-wall jokes are especially bad. And the manga lacks a proper ending, as Higuchi caved under the pressure of deadlines and never continued it, but the final chapter does somewhat serve as an open-ended ending, which is good. Overall, I still recommend Stop HIbari-Kun to everyone, it's a very interesting read. And just to finish off the recommendations about trans characters, we have Yuzu no Koto by Sho Arai, the most recent manga on this list, being released in 2018 and the shortest too. This 4 is 30 chapters long, but it's also 30 pages. Yes, it's one of those. A lot of the LGBTQ+ manga that I've read are very tragic, sad, and heavy. It's understandable, and it's a good way to make the point across. But I think having a nice, cute manga about the team once in a while is also good, and that's where Yuzu no Koto comes in. What I also like is that this is a story from the point of view of the best friend of the trans character. Ichigo returns from summer break to find out her best friend, Yuzu, has came out as a boy. This manga is more about Ichigo's curiosity about the topic and trying to understand what things must and must not change between their relationships. It also tackles Yuzu, whose life as a boy is different from his life as a girl, and how he learns what to change and what not to as well. It's again very cute, and you can read it all in 15 minutes, so there's not many reasons not to. The final 2 manga are my favorites on the topic, and the ones I definitely recommend checking out the most, if by any chance you haven't already. First is Shimanami Tasogare, or Our Dreams at Dusk by Yuki Kamatami. The story starts with our main character Tatsuku's classmates finding out that he's gay. As he tries to run away, he finds himself in a place run by a person called Anonymous. This happens to be a place where various LGBTQ+ people gather and socialize. By returning often, Tatsuko finds more about each of these members and their sexuality, identity, and life. And these characters are great, with honestly my least favorite being the actual main character. But even he becomes more interesting from the second volume onwards as we explore his love for his classmate. Everything in our dreams at Dusk is topped with gorgeous art style and visual representations. It was sadly cut short, as the magazine it was published got cancelled, which forced the ending to be a bit rushed. However, this is still a great read, and that shouldn't stop you. The final manga I recommend is My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. Despite having the word lesbian experience on the title and being on this list, the key word here is loneliness. This manga, written by Kabi Nagara, is an autobiographical manga in which Nagara talks about her own experience with loneliness, and more accurately, depression. How depression made her feel in life and how looking for love ended up making her find her own sexual identity, and how disastrous her first lesbian sexual experience was. I love autobiographical manga because they are real, and they can teach us so much about other people's point of views and experience, and so far no other has done this better than this one. I still haven't read the sequels that exist, but I plan on doing so, and if you haven't read My Lesbian Experience Loneliness, I beg you to read it. It's not a pleasant read, but it's an important one. And that's 5. If you liked this video, consider giving a like, and don't forget to comment below with your recommendations. If you're curious about what was the year 24 group thingy I mentioned, consider checking the video on the left, and if you watched it till here, thank you very much, and I'll see you next video.